Welcome and helping. That's a really good start, isn't it? Hello and welcome to Hairing the Hawthorn. This is what kind of night it's going to be, honestly. So today's question is going to be, and the guest that I've got with me is going to help me somewhat answer this. What happens when paranormal investigators go down proverbial rabbit holes? So with me this evening, I've got the lovely Russ, and I'm so excited to have Russ on. And it's one of those, when you know people in the paranormal community, it's not that I forget to ask them on and invite them on. It's just I kind of take it as a given that everybody will just go, yeah, I'd love to be on, and so I don't really ask. But I'm so pleased that Russ said that he would come and sit on the virtual sofa with me. So hello, Russ, how you doing?
Good evening and welcome. How you doing? You okay?
I'm good. I'm good.
Uh,
So I'm gonna start off with a bit of a strange question to start with, really. I don't want to start with your bio to begin with. What I want to do is I want to introduce you in a little bit of a different way here. Could you describe to us a particularly strange experience that you've had, either as a paranormal investigator or outside of being a paranormal investigator?
yeah, no problem at all. I've had quite a few, obviously, with being quite open to spirit, but they are sneaky buggers, and they will come up to you at the most inappropriate, most time when you're not even in tune or not expecting it. But two things stand out. One, I was on a business trip in Norway, to be believe it or not, in Stavanger, and I'd just come out of a conference, headed to the hotel room, totally empty corridor, all the rooms, obviously, doorways left and right. And then suddenly I heard somebody calling my name, shouting, Russ, Russ. And I was like, well, my boss, he's checked in already. He's on the lower floor. So I was just looking around, but this my continual name kept for about 10 seconds, Russ. And it was like going higher, lower pitch. So I thought nothing. I couldn't find it, and thought it was just an anomaly, and went into the bedroom, and yeah, it subsided. But that's one that sticks with me. Just a total weird. I know it's a how can I put it? It's a common thing to happen to people, to have your name called when you're alone. But that was the first time and only time it's ever happened to me. Second time, yeah.
No,
Sorry,
can
go on.
I just go back to that? So you're in a foreign country where
Yeah, foreign country.
the language is
Yeah,
obviously different, and you
yep,
get a DVP
yep,
in an English
yeah.
accent.
Yeah, in English. Now, is this emanating from myself, from my own subconscious? Is it one of my, guides, if you want to call it, or somebody I was bringing with me as protection while I was on my travels? But or was it manifested from my subconscious, and I needed that security at the time? I don't know, but it was just a weird experience. But yeah, as clear as day, I could hear my name for a good 10, 20 seconds at least. So
I find
over
it
and over.
I find it very strange when we get these snippets, when we
Mhm,
get sort of DVPs and EVPs that are just
mhm.
those kind of one,
Yeah,
not even generally sentences, but one
yeah,
word or repetitive word.
just
And
one
it's like,
word. Yeah.
it kind of leaves you hanging on the edge for more, doesn't it? It's like,
Yeah,
what
definitely.
do you want? Hello.
I wouldn't mind it, but it wasn't even a business lunch meeting. I hadn't even touched any alcohol or nothing. So I don't know, but I don't know if it's a DVP as such, but is it something I've manifested? Was it something in my psyche, in my mind? But I could just hear it, just crystal clear. I don't know. One of those moments where I just thought I can't even, try and fathom what had just occurred. So was it something that was with me, something that I manifested? I don't know. It was weird. Yeah, strange one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You were going to go on and say another one before I rudely
Yeah.
interrupted you with that one.
Again, another hotel. This one was in Aberdeen. I didn't know nothing about the location, nothing about the property I was staying in. But I was woken at 2 o'clock by the sound of horses and hooves and a shaking bedroom. Like it was almost as if I'd been trampled on with horses coming through the hotel room. And it weren't until the next morning I thought that was a weird dream.
Mm.
And I went down and I just says, no stables around. And I says, yeah, there's a funeral directors, old Victorian funeral directors at the back of the hotel that had cobblestones and horses that was horse drawn for the coffins. So I don't know, is that a sync putting the two together? But it was definitely some kind of residual. play back their experience, and I was in the middle of it. Yeah, so yeah, but some
Wow.
people would probably say, was it a train? But it wasn't. There's no train station, no train track near the room. So yeah, just another weird one. And the thing was, I wasn't even investigating or
I know.
or anything. That just came to me. So probably best not to try and investigate. Let them come your way.
Definitely, and we'll definitely go back to theories about sort of stone tape theories and
Yeah,
that kind of thing a bit later on in.
of course. Yeah, definitely.
So could you introduce yourself after those two sort of tidbits about
Yeah.
the kind of things you encounter?
Yeah, of course. So my name's Russ Bevin. I'm from Westbury Paranormal. I'm yeah, the manager there, if you want to say, or team lead, or whatever you want to call me, originator of the team. Yeah, we've kind of set up really just to go on research evenings, and for our own curious monkey, we wanted to go and try and do a bit of research, get EVPs. So I still think that's the main source of evidence. I think everybody will agree. I think manifestation captures are not going to happen in our day and age. Hopefully, the technology will improve. We might get, some kind of decoding of the energy that we encounter. But yeah, EVPs. I was always into EVPs, and I thought, okay, been doing them for years and years. 20 years. And I thought I'd start going on a few other people's research evenings, and got into it. But then people started asking me about, can we come? Can we come? And then that's how the event side of things came about. And we've got a nice following now. We've got a nice family. They follow us around. So we do a lot, not many events. We're not a massive events company. We do one a month roughly. Also, apart from that, I still do spirit rescue. I like to go and help families who in need with my medium friend Andy Moore. He won't want me mentioning his name. So myself and Andy will go in, help families in need, particularly around children and negative energies, and try and lift their vibrations. It's not always paranormal, as we know. It's best to do the mental assessment, see what's going on. Is there anything that can do? Is there too much EMF floating around the house? Can we move boxes? Can we move electricity around? Can we get the kids out and being affected? Are they cocooned in their computers, all day? And all this negative mindset. Increased vibration, and the odd occasion it is paranormal. We'll move it on and blitz it in our, in the ways we do, So we use a lot of frequency, so singing bowls and bells, etc. So we do a lot of sound blasting, and our medium will bring his guides in, if you believe in that type of thing. But it does we have a great success rate. So I got that. I also do I've not done much recently, but I used to do a lot of talking at events, and I've written for Haunting magazine like yourself do regularly. So I do a bit, yeah, and I'm hopefully one of the nicer people to deal with in the industry. So,
Definitely.
I say industry. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not an industry. In the field and the family, because I like to think everybody's a family. You get some people rogues cashing in on it, but no, most of us are all amicable and get on, and it's nice. So
it is, and you definitely are one of the nicer guys. I've found you always really pleasant to be around. It's always a pleasure when I bump into you actually in person, and it's not often enough.
No, so, definitely not.
Taking you back, and you were saying about Westbury Paranormal, which in my head, I really have to concentrate on how to say Westbury because
instead of Wednesday.
Yeah, instead of Wednesday, it's my dyslexic side. So it's Westbury Paranormal for
That's
people.
Right. It's the town Westbury. Now we couldn't come up with a name, so you got all these people with brilliant names, haunted this, haunted that, but. Because we never wanted to grow, and we were never in the field to actually care. We just wanted a name so we could go on the research.
We
kind of stuck, and we should really smarten up our image a bit. But no, we don't.
No, I don't think so.
No egos at all. So.
Yeah, I think I don't ever refer to you as Westbury Paranormal. I always refer to you lot as the Westbury lads.
That's it, yeah. Westbury boys, yeah.
Yeah, and Westbury boys, and I think that's everybody in the community knows you in that respect as well. So taking you back before the getting together and doing the Westbury Paranormal. pre-events, what was the pull? What was the trigger for you of moving from not doing paranormal research into this passion about wanting to do paranormal research?
Yeah, okay. So really, when I was younger, I had a few experiences like we all probably do, and I've and like you, Kate, I'm not one leaving the mainstream medias and the brainwashing that
Mm-hmm.
gets thrown our way every single day, the negativity that gets thrown our way. So I was born with an inquisitive mind, and I look at I prefer to do my own research, my own alternative medias, and I've got my own followers who I follow religiously because those are my fundamental beliefs, and
Mm-hmm.
we're just born into a cocoon, into a matrix, if you want to.
Yeah.
And there's something out there that feeds off our negative energies, are being kept down all the time, and people are feeling it now for sure. But that's another episode. But no, that's how I started, and I got into really started in conspiracy theories hugely. I mean, I spent 10 years following David Icke and around the country, and and similar people, and I just like to. I just want the alternative opinion on religions, alternative on reality.
Mm-hmm.
What is consciousness? What we're being spun every day, of our lives. And so I always looked at the other solutions, not just one solution,
Yeah.
one answer off the media. And then it moved on to UFOs. I got into UFOs, so I started researching Rendlesham, started researching the Phoenix Lights and Area 51, the Dulce base. I got into all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think one day I went on, forgot what happened, but I've always been interested in ITC, so instrumental transcommunication. I was in that all the way through, voice, EVPs, as you say, and linear sweep radios, etc. Because there's something in that white noise manipulation that communication can occur for sure. We're not mastered it yet by anyhow, but there is something in it, and I've always had that all the way through, since I was a teenager. So, but then really to get into the research, what brought it on was just people passing, that your loved ones passing, having experiences after they've passed, and you're thinking, and then you question your own mortality as well. Then, so I think everybody wants to know what happens when we move on. What happens? What is it? Do we move? Do we transcend into another vessel? Or we're just a spiritual soul in a vessel having an experience? I just want to know all these things. Really, what happens if we can get any proof? I know it's a taboo and it's not meant to know, but we get an inkling or something that we know there is something after. It might make things easier for people to grieve and not make people so anxious about the experience. So that was the main reason, really, that I went into research, as well to get some bloody good EVPs. So class A all the way, yeah.
I think there's something. I think there's something very, very magical as well. I don't, that there is the giving families clarity, or people who are grieving clarity. But I think there's something. It is the magic in the world, isn't it? To truly believe that there's something beyond our material realm. And I, like you, I'm a curious monkey. So I've got a really broad bed of things that I look into. And I think that we often need extreme ends. Like you say, we are bombarded every day by disaster and fear, and you should be a certain way and act a certain way, and the other end of the spectrum, and somewhere in between, in that ether, we can start deciphering what is reality for us, and I think, like you, doing that with honesty and with curiosity and integrity, is I find myself at my happiest, when I get a little bit of a buzz for something, when somebody says something and it kind of sparks my brain, and I just think, oh, I've never thought of that before. Just going back with your curiosity starting, and I suppose you're of a similar generation to me where, you know, it was conspiracy theories were becoming more mainstream and accessible. You know, we didn't have the internet when we were kids, but there were books and whatnot out there. Mine was 14 times. When I started, when I
what was his
started,
name? The Reverend Father. Sorry, I forgot the father.
yeah, Fanthorpe.
Fanthorpe with the beard. Yeah, yeah, it's a nice bloke. Yeah.
I actually emailed him about 5 years ago, never expected a response. And I got such a beautiful response from him. It was so nice, so nice. But it was 14 TV as well, wasn't it? And I remember coming back from the pub and it was on at sort of like 2 o'clock in the morning on Channel 4 or something. And it was, you'd sit there sort of a little bit drunk and a little bit confused. And, you know, they would talk about aliens and conspiracy theories and dark religion and all the things that you've mentioned. And it does kind of fire the brain. Anyway,
remember Arthur C. Clarke? Remember that? The Amazing World Mystery of Arthur C. Clarke. So you're talking Easter Island and Crystal Skulls, and it was so much better back then as well, wasn't it? Because you wasn't bombarded with all the media. You know, there's millions of programs now, but you get, you say 14 TV, you get Arthur C. Clarke, you get Haunted. I forgot Britain's Greatest Haunted, Michaela Strachan walking around the houses, and you know, it was just amazing back then because you wasn't so many, so you was more gullible to what they said. But now, you know, you're bombarded. You can pick any subject, can't you? Any genre, and there's something there.
I know. And the thing is with those, with being able to pick them and cherry pick them as well, it's like it's kind of lost its magic a tiny bit, a tiny weeny bit. I must admit, hands up, I could not watch for many, many years because of my own experiences. I could not watch anything about ghosts. I couldn't. This is how bad it is. I couldn't even read Ghost Watching 14 times. I skipped it because I was terrified. I skipped it.
You would do, yeah. You get coming to terms with your own gift and your own sensitivity. So it's going to scare you. You're trying to put the block up, you don't want to unblock it in case you get scared. So
I mean, it can be quite a terrifying thing, and I'm sure you've. Can you think about one of the scariest maybe experiences that you've had?
Okay, well, like yourself, you get immune to them over the years, don't you? The more you do, the more immune to them. But there are a couple of times when I think, and these are on public events, you know, you don't tell them the truth. You know what I mean?
No.
I think we went to Woodchester. It was Woodchester Mansion, and the Black Monk, the Black Monk, and we had an experience with him. And one of the sensitives saw this shadow heading towards the confessional booth in the chapel. So me being me, okay, let's follow him, let's go. So we all followed him down, the alleged shadow. And I went into this booth. But when I went into the booth, I lost all state of reality. I mean, I'd got into like a mind vortex. It was as if I was being lifted up, or I was disorientated. But all I could see out my eyes was, you know, the guests there going, he doesn't look well, he doesn't look right. But I just remember having to think, okay, get your act together. Don't start passing out or doing something silly, because you're going to, you're going to scare the guests. So I remained sat, but it was a weird experience. It was as if I was entered. It wasn't a time slip or anything, but it was definitely I'd entered his auric, his field, his energy field, and it was powerful. So that was quite scary. Last scary incident, which I never bail. They called me the cellar dweller in the team because I'll spend hours on my own walking around any cellar. I am the original cellar dweller, but one time it was at the nunnery. I went to the nunnery. I don't know if you've heard of that location in Malvern. It's an abandoned nunnery, yeah. And it's a really good place and be good for you, sensitives in particular. But I've been having dreams for a week of this priest, shall we say. He had slick black hair, fingernails all black, his fingernails all tobacco. And he was just a dirty looking creature, and he kept coming to me in my dreams and putting his fingers to my face like this, and I could just see all the tobacco. And I don't know if it was a trigger, subconscious again, going for the event. But when I got there, I asked the guy on the door for the night, so is this ring true? And he said, yeah, there's a vicar, a priest who wanders around the back area, and he was never nice to the nuns in the nunnery. And yeah, he said there was some incidents with the nuns over the years. But point stories, we had a seance on the night, and I just took part in the circle. I don't normally perform the seances, but the lady who did was pretty good. And then all of a sudden, this energy field came onto my shoulder and started cramping my shoulder and my chest. And then I was there, like, back away, as you do. I don't need this, back away. And all of a sudden, I could just feel again that going back to disorientated, etc. So I had to break. I had to break the circle and say sorry. I went out of the way for a bit to calm down. But during the questions, and the medium, who didn't know nothing about my dreams, could see this priest, and he was actually burning children's clothes into the fireplace where the table was working. He was putting children's clothes as if he was hiding some misdemeanor, and the ash and the filth were off the fire.
Wow.
And he'd come through to try and explain what he'd done, and felt guilty for what he'd done. So I don't know, it might be all hocus pocus, but it all links with the dream, and the medium didn't know about my dreams, and she could see him burning clothes. So we come to the conclusion it was the ash. It was there. So that kind of shook me up for a week or so, but a couple of days, and then I was back at it again. So but that's what we're in it for, with those experiences. It's knowing how to handle and back away and be safe with it. So
I mean, that's the big thing, isn't it? It is knowing when to say stop. That's it. You don't do this, and it's also keeping you, and especially when you're on events, it's keeping your guests safe, isn't it? I like you. I mean, we'll talk about Smethwick after. I was at Smethwick Baths on.
I saw your picture there. Yeah, I saw you all there. Yeah.
On Friday, and I very rarely get affected. Physically affected. I have very strict boundaries with spirit that you stay out of my space. You don't touch me, you don't come into my space. I'm not there for that. Communication is what I'm there for. But I came over very sick. I was actually working with Andy Moore on that occasion. I came over and I felt very, very sick, and I was stood up, but I put my hands on my knees to get my head lowered. And a guest said, "Oh, are you all right?" And I was thinking, I'm going to throw up any minute. I just turned around and went, "Yeah, I'm fine." I'm fine. But bizarrely enough, Andy was quite affected. Not long after that point. Okay. So very, very strong energy. Now you've had some experiences, haven't you, at Smethwick?
Yeah, we've had lots over the years. I've done many a public event, but I've also get privileged to get in there on my own. I've had 4 hours on myself in the tunnels.
Wow.
So on a research night, but I've had lots. I've had Class A EVPs of the young girl who wonders, the omnipresent spirit Emily from there, who was, she was born on the farmland before the baths, and she still resides looking for a mum. I caught her a couple of times on Class A EVP. And we had a little bit of a conversation with it on the one time. I'd also saw the darker entity that lingers. If you've ever been, I know you, but if any of you guests, people watching, the woodshed area, I've had an experience there. Saw about an 8-foot black mass, and it was like, it was like metamorphosizing. It was like a shape shifting, almost as if it was trying to copy the mass that it was heading towards. So I saw that with my own eyes. I saw plenty of coloured visual orbs physically with my eyes, not infrared dust. I saw reds, I saw blues, with my own eyes, orb lights, spirit orbs, spirit lights. Yeah, I've had so much down there. I mean, Smethwick Baths, the most resounding piece of evidence I ever saw there was in the ladies' toilet area. I don't know if you've been in there with the story. I know if people watching don't know the story, but there was a lady overdosed in the toilets back in the war. She was carrying child, not of hers, and she was forced to take the tablets. But the most resounding piece of evidence was a Class A EVP of the American soldier who she was impregnated by. basically telling his rank and number on a Class A EVP. Now, this was on a Panasonic DR60, you know, these 3 grand voice recorders.
Yeah.
But it was crystal clear, to be fair. He gave his rank and his number, and it was in an American accent. So I can't, you know, that's like undisputable evidence, in my opinion. It was controlled conditions, nobody talking, nobody scratching the coats, looking in bags. It was all made to sit still, and it came through. Rank and number, and he said it after another in an American accent.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So for those people out there who don't know, we're talking about Smethwick Baths. I mean, I know a lot of the American and Canadian watchers will go, what on earth are you talking about, Smethwick Baths? So, excuse me. So Smethwick is a place, and Smethwick Baths is a swimming pool. And I often get the question from friends who are not into the paranormal of, why on earth would a swimming pool be haunted? Now, this place has many, many layers, doesn't it? There is reputed that the building is built on a plague pit. It was used as a dance hall as well. There is speculation that the Krays had some kind of involvement with the building as well. So lots and lots and lots of layers, and it is one of my favorite, definitely up there in the top 10 when it comes to events. Certainly it's definitely up there in my favorite. So going back to the lovely Andy Moore, you mentioned before we started recording that you guys do some spirit work, spirit rescue together. Could you just briefly explain to people who are watching this who might not know what spirit rescue is? Could you just talk through what that is?
Yeah, of course. So those people who don't know, it's basically when you get, like yourself, Kate, you know, well, the more and the longer you get in the community, that's a good word as well. I was looking for a word because it's not an industry at all.
No.
I absolutely messed up on that because it's not, I couldn't think of the word. It is a community, it is a family. And I hate to say this, but it is out there. It does walk among us. And depending on where you live, depending on the geographics, depending on what lies beneath your land, depending on what you do in your house, how much negativity, if you dabble in the occult, if you call to spirit, you are opening portals, you're opening doorways that you are not ready to deal with. So my advice to anybody out there who's not into the paranormal, but into, you know, curious about it, don't even go there. Leave it for an event. Leave it for the, I say with professionals, leave it to the experienced people, because you don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know who you're talking to. You might be thinking you're talking to your Uncle Fred, but darker entities are the masters of disguise. And they are, and that's why you need a talented medium like yourself, Kate, or Andy, you know, even sensitives like myself. You know, I was just a paranormal investigator, but I've grown into the spiritual aspect of it now, and I'm open now, so I'm getting stronger by the day with it. I would have nothing to do with that. I used to think it was hocus pocus until working with people like you and Andy and all the other talented mediums. There are charlatans out there, and you know, but I know a clean one. I can study auras. I look at your aura, Kate, and I can see, you know, you ooze light. You've got that golden glow, which all these higher enlightened people have got. So, but yeah, that's. But spirit rescue is, I'll get called. Somebody will get called in the family. Can you help? You know, my son is depressed. My son's mental health. He keeps saying he's seeing things. He's having activity, in, you know, voices, etc., moving objects, blah blah blah. And now, 9 out of 10 times, I'll be honest, I'll go there and you'll see that there's trouble in the family. Somebody's on antidepressants. Somebody, you know, there's something's portraying the negative side of the place. Now, after 2 or 3 hours, you know, I'll go through an intensive question. I'll just chat to the people. I'll find out what you know, what relation. I know it's always like being a psychiatrist, you know, type of thing, but it's not. It's just purely getting to know that what's going on, because you get an inkling, don't you? What could it be? Is it light? Is it dark? Is it family? That could be doing it if it is paranormal. So my job and Andy's job, the medium who associates me, is to heal the people, because 9 out of 10 times it's the person needs healing. It's manifesting from the negativity of that individual. So if you're going through a tough time, say at school, at work, at college, you're in that mindset, that can feed off this. You can actually manifest something from your own consciousness, like I've talked about, and that's what could be deemed as an attachment, which is something you've manifested from your own psyche, your own mental well-being. So we need to heal that. We do soul retrieval. So Andy will put them into meditation, pick up pieces of the soul, the missing soul, put it back. We'll do the meditation where it's called the room cleanse, the attic cleanse. So you'll go and you'll shift things in your mind. You'll be cleaning your house. And then we will do, if need be, we don't like doing investigative work on clearances, because all you're doing is feeding the fire, really. Some people say, who is it? What is it? You don't want to know. You just want to get rid. You just want to get rid of it. Concentrate on healing you, getting you back to where you was prior, and then we'll blast it with Archangel Michael. We'll bring in light, Saint Germain. We'll do singing bowls. We'll use the herbs. So we'll use Sage Santo. Santo gets rid of everything. Palo Santo. So we'll do all the ritualistic things, I like to say, but we do not go to a case and investigate. We're just fueling the fire. We'll leave that for the Smethwick Baths and all the locations that we hire out to do that and impress the guests, So, but yeah, Spirit Rescue is all about giving something back, using our knowledge. I'd like to say skills, but it's knowledge or our gifts, to help the family and give a bit back, because the spiritual reward you get from it, like after you've helped somebody, and just to feel that change of dynamic within the room, just walking into a room and you can just tell, can't you? You can see the light in a room, whereas prior to it with the negativity, it's a totally different matter. But it's great helping people, and I've long continued to do that. But the amount, especially in this day and age that we hit on earlier, the amount of negativity that's about, the media spinning, you won't believe, it's like on Ghostbusters when you're getting a spike of hauntings. I mean, it's up here now. I mean, been peaking now because of all the doom and gloom merchants. And it's just this mental health, I've suffered a little bit myself over the past few years. And you start not being schizophrenic, but you do start visualizing things more of a darker nature when you're in that mindset. So if we can help, we can help. But that Spirit's Rescue, in its essence, it's the old cliched going into a house and helping, like poltergeist, etc. But obviously on a more spiritual, more healing nature, because that's what it should be about. Definitely.
I find two things that you've said there very, very refreshing. And the first one that I really did it was a tick in the box for me, was definitely the ethical nature of going in and really having an in-depth interview with the family and finding out what the crux of the matter is. And the second one is something that I've been saying for forever, is about the only person who can really stop haunting is the person involved. You can have as many crystals as you want, you can have as many herbs as you want. If you don't raise your own vibration, however that may be, then getting rid of it is going to be, you'll never do it, you'll never shift it, because
exactly, Kate.
Like you say, we can manifest from ourselves negative energy. I've mentioned it before, but for people who are interested, that there are theories about what are called egregores, which can then go on and be sentient beings that are detached from you as a person. There's also tulplers. That's another one to research if you want to get into that. And we can also perpetuate our own negative energy by not getting out that cycle. But also we do become this battery, don't we, of a negative battery, where we attract in negativity. Saying all this, there are exceptions, as you will know. There are exceptions, aren't they, where for whatever reason I've come across ancestral hauntings where people have been bothered by a haunting that's come down through a family that's attached to another's family member. It hasn't, fulfilled its, quota or whatever, its job or whatever, and stayed. and stayed with the family. I think the other thing that I find very refreshing is I struggle a little bit with soul rescue in terms of sending a spirit to light.
Yeah. How do you know? Yeah. How do you know? I've saw people do the cleanse, and then a week later, the investigators are around there again, and I'm there going, I'm just thinking, what was the point? Yeah. There's no. I know I don't want to disrespect anybody out there who actually does it, but nothing's ever foolproof. Nothing's ever proven. You're just relying on what the medium is saying. But there has been the odd occasion, I've actually filmed it and documented it, where we have done one. And at the moment of the alleged passing, all the REM pods have gone off on the stairwell at the exact moment. And I've got that actually filmed and documented. So, or is that the spirit saying, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Beep, beep, beep. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. How do you prove what's gone apart from relying on your medium and relying on that euphoric feeling? Or could that be but our own psychic together thinking it's happened, so all this energy is uplifting, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. You just don't know. You're just going on ancient practices, aren't you, really, based on what we've all learned over the years. So yeah, you're right, there's no proof in it though, is there?
No. And I think the other thing is, you don't know who you're sending on.
No.
and I think that there is a time and a place for spirit rescue, and I think it's for those who are innocent, who are trapped. So those who have been through trauma. I'll tell you a little story about I got a little bit shirty with a couple of guests many years ago who were literally given golden tickets of sending them off into spirit world in a prison. The prison was for murderers and rapists. And I had to sit them down and go, no, love. The thing is, for me, a part of your karmic cycle and payoff doesn't stop when you die. And if you are stuck, say in a purgatory, and you are unable to move on to a more positive layer, it's because you haven't learned something. And it's not until you learn a lesson that you can move on. And then if somebody, a lovely person with all the best will in the world, comes along and says, here you go, I'll open a portal up to nirvana for you, and off you go. And it's like, what happens to that soul then? They haven't transcended themselves, and you're just giving them a leg up. Anyway.
Sorry, can I just ask a question about your own belief? I've been on obviously many cases now, but do you believe in the existence of portals? So you do. So you do believe in portals being opened and they can cross in and out and shut in, all based on the lay of the land, so ley lines, being close to water, etc. And then all these elements, if you want to put it, come together and take the right atmospherics, perhaps a bit of dabbling yourself, and then it can open a portal. That's okay. It's because I say that because I've been on many cases where we have found portals, believe them or not. It's always the pets that give them away for me. I know you can go around with your divination techniques, with your pendulums, your rods, etc., or the medium spots them. But telltale sign is always the pet. The dog will always come, always walk into the room, sit there, stare at the ceiling or stare at the wall. And that happens many a time. But I just wanted to know if you believed in their existence, because there is definitely something in it for sure. I don't know what, can't explain it, but it's an opening to the linear, the parallel dimension that we're overlapping with, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, I think there are. I'm actually for Haunted magazine at the minute. I'm researching about liminal places and where things are at its thinnest. And obviously, when you've got energy charged liminal places, such as on ley lines, where we know about things like, if a house is under a power mast, that can create an energy within in the house and that kind of thing. But liminal places as well, those places that are that we just walk through, that aren't places of stopping, or liminal time. So there's two really strong liminal times in the year, which is Beltane and Samhain, and they're the two parts of the year where the veil is thinnest. That we are at our closest to energetic beings. How they work, it's got to be frequency. I'm no scientist, but it's got to be frequency.
Sure.
And I think that people can open it up, and can open it up without knowing, through anxiety or strong emotions, one way or the other. And I know I'm going off on one here, but
it's fine. It's about the rabbit hole.
I know. So one of my theories about why schools tend to have hauntings is because that high energy level of children, if you've ever watched children in a playground play, it's like an insane asylum. They are insane.
No navigational skills. The compass has gone.
They're screaming, they're laughing, but their high energy levels then I think create a charge, and that's why you do get hauntings in school, because that bothered me for ages of why schools were haunted.
Plus the innocence of the child, plus they're not conditioned socially. So all this, as you say, the pure innocence, this accumulated charge of innocence and power, can, as you say, can create and draw the pure light of the children as well. It's just, wow, it's just a beacon for the spirit world.
Yeah, I think definitely children have this because of their innocence, they don't question any psychic incidents that they may have. I think we're all born with our third eye wide open, and we just learn over time. We're bombarded, it closes down. Definitely.
Fluoride in the water, the education system, the media, blah blah blah. Get you pigeonholed as into the matrix as soon as possible.
I'm glad you said that. I have to take a platonic role on this show.
I know you do, yeah.
But I am always pleased when guests say things like that.
Don't get me onto simulation theory, because that is another another subject that I like to talk about. So
yeah, I've had some very interesting. I don't know whether you've seen the interview with Anthony Peake that's on the channel. If you haven't, have a look, because he wrote a book called Cheating the Ferryman, and he
I saw that. That's an old book. That's a good
and he talks about simulation and how and he explains from theories about how that works, and that absolutely fascinates me.
But one stage from that now is this introduction of quantum theory, quantum mechanics, quantum computing. Quantum computing now is actually programming and changing reality as we know it. If you research the Mandela effect, there are computers out there now that the Google have got that can actually change our very existence and things in our existence, sway things into the powers, the elite's favor. You research it, so you should probably have. It's mind-boggling how it's come on since Andrew's book. I mean, it's immense what they're doing now, and all this conditioning, this extra negativity we're all going through, this horrible 2-3 years. It's culminating into something, introduction of 5G. I'm going to upset people here. I don't want to upset people, but we are being blasted with nanotechnology.
Yes.
Somehow now, nanotechnology is scary. What they can do. I mean, it's particulate size. Some of these, if you want to call them nanobots, they're interfering with our fabric, our biology. They're trying to turn us into biological computers.
Yes.
That can be controlled by these master quantum computing systems, where we are going to be manipulated. And if you've seen my favourite film, it's called They Live, with Roddy Piper in, cheesy 80s movie, but just watch that, because he puts these sunglasses on one day that he finds, and he sees what the world is for reality. All the advertisements, it's just, obey, buy this product. It's like this. And then the odd person you'll bump into is an elite person who is in fact reptilian alien.
Yeah.
You know, they don't make these films based on a whim. You know, there's a lot of science, a lot of truth behind some of these movies. But it just blew my mind. This was in the 80s.
Mm.
You know, I still watch it today. I think it was a John Carpenter film. I just watch it because it's like sums up reality now, and it sums up where we are. Because I think we're in a time frame now where we're coming to a pivotal point in something. It can't go on. You know, we're all suffering. The main population is suffering. They're using us for control methods for some reason. They're wanting us treated like sheep and cattle. Now, again, this is another show, and we talk about the elite, the Illuminati, Bilderberg Group, etc., who want the 1% that want to control us all. And it is scary times. Now we're coming to a pivotal point now. Are we going to break off to their rules and their regulations and what they want us to be, which is depopulation of the planet? Or are we going to go our own way and create this utopian society that we all crave and need, where we nurture, where we love, where we grow our own? And I hope it goes down that route. But everybody's coming to this decision now. Yeah. Are we going to follow the elite? Are we going to follow what they want? Or are we going to go our own way? And I'm hoping to God we go our own way. But this is in our laps now.
Yeah.
I don't like to say the word end times, because it's not the end times. We're either going to follow our path, our spiritual path, come together as a human race. All colours, all creeds, all religion come together to beat this 1%. Because if we go down the route of, you know, read the Georgia Guidestones, you know, just read them. Those are the plans for the future, and we don't want to go down that route. We want this earth was given, Goddess Earth was given to us. We need to look after it. We're not looking after it. If we don't look after Mother Earth, she will find a way to rid. We've been here many times before. This society, this human race, has been here over and over and over. We get to a point where she's had enough. And what do? She uses her antibodies. Mother Earth uses her antibodies to wipe and start again. And that we're coming to that precipice again now. It worries me, but I just hope people wake up and see the light. And you doing the work you're doing. All these alternative media, they keep shutting down on YouTube, etc., who dare talk outside of the remit, you know, what they've said. They're getting shut down, they're getting sent to court. You know, everybody who's got a different opinion not allowed. So, but please, just people wake up, research what's going on, what's happening. You know, we are at this point now, this spiritual point. Oh, for God, I hope we do take the spiritual route. I really do. Because the other route is 1984, you know. We don't want the Orwellian state, for God's sake, please.
You were in a little bit there where you were going down sounding more like a hippie than me there, Russ. So that was quite delightful. But I mean, on a serious note, all of these things are very much in plain sight now, where, you know, big companies are talking about, you know, biocomputing and using us as biological robots. Not using us, but they're going to sell it us in a really lovely package that it's for our benefit. And one of the questions, and bringing us back to the spiritual and ghosts, etc., one of the things that they are really researching hard in conjunction with this is eternal life. Or a longer life. And I mean, this has been a pursuit of man since the dawn of time, you know, the human race. But what does that mean in terms of our spirit and our soul? If A, we can't move on, and B, what does that do to us? To what extent is that going to dehumanize us, you know, and take away and diminish our soul, which is a propellant of free will, isn't it? It's a propellant of
we'd hate to get with AI as it is, artificial intelligence. We're getting to a stage now, and again talking about matrix theory, simulation theory, we're getting to a point now where the soul could be used as a software, you know, look at it as a software put onto a drive of some kind and get transferred into another vessel, another body. And as you say, what's that going to do in relation to the karmatic law, the state, the enlightenment, the moving on, the next life cycle? That surely is going to come at a cost mentally, etc. You know, it's got to be. You know, we're not designed to be at that logical surely you're going to start losing feelings. Your nervous system is going to be trying to compute with your robotic arm, for example. That is not the flow, the chi, the energy flow is not there within your body. There's going to be some dangerous situations ahead for people if we take too much. I can understand, like, somebody's lost a hand and then the hand, blah blah blah, but for eternal life, wow, that's that's serious issue.
It's not for me. I wouldn't want to live forever.
No, of course not.
I think as a paranormal investigator, I think it's definitely took me more towards the whole Peter Pan of death would be a terribly exciting adventure, or whatever the quote is. It's part of our journey as spiritual beings, isn't it? And taking away, that's even more frightening for me, having that taken away from me. There are times on the planet at the minute where I'm just going, mothership, take me home. It's like, do we actually want to be here anymore? Talking of which, you were saying, and I'm mindful of time, that I don't want to take too much time with this, but I mean, for me, the parameters, the whole ufology thing, didn't really captivate me and fascinate me early doors, and it's more recently when I have started to develop the connectivities between all these things, between supernatural aliens, ghosts, etc., etc. In terms of that, where are you at with are you a big believer in the physicality of aliens? Do you believe it's okay? So what theories have you kind of come across that you've just gone, this is it?
This is another program in its entirety, but if you can read the Book of Enoch and study the Nephilim and the Anunnaki, the fallen angels, etc., they're already here. There's 10 species of aliens already roaming the planet. The elites, the reptilians, if you want to call them that, the lizard beings. If you ever watched the program V in the 80s, they're exactly like that, the reptilians. There's 10 species here. There's some good ones, there's some bad ones. You get these 8-foot Viking, blonde, blue eyes. I forget the name of them. But
Palladians.
That's it, Palladians. You've got the Greys, etc. But they're not here. They're patrolling. Now, have you ever seen these? There's a lot of reporting since at the minute. There's a lot of spheres that are going around orbiting. Now, these are alien tech. These are their security warning system. Now, there's a link to these spheres, if you research them, in haunted locations. And this is a theory. And these spheres are in haunted locations as a beacon, as a warning system to stop people from prying and intervening, trying to tap into this security. It's like a force field around the globe. And there are good and there are bad aliens. I think they call them the ranchers and something else. I've not studied it for a while, but there's a war going on between good and evil aliens over this planet. The evil ones are taking the abductions and using us for research. And then there's the good ones who want to protect us and they love us. And there's a lot of, how can I put it without sounding and being disrespectful, there's a lot of link between visitations and aliens and there is with religious prophets. And I do really believe, I think there's 1,500 prophets. There's not just Jesus. People just think that Jesus is a prophet. There are 1,500 recorded prophets, going back to the Egyptians, etc. You look at some of the ancient history, some of the markings on the pyramids. There are the ancient paintings. There's UFOs in the paintings. There's aliens. There's, the Egyptians themselves used to cats. They all used to wear cats' heads, and that's another race of aliens. I mean, there's so much going on that we'll never ever understand it. But I'm a massive believer. We're in an infinite universe, infinite number of habitable zones like our own. Just obviously we can't get to them to prove it. But anybody out there says they don't exist or there ain't life out there needs their head seriously wobbling about, because 1,000,000%, if there's more anything, I'll put my house anything on it, because there's got to be. It's pure mathematics. And you'll probably get the flat earthers on saying, well, we're in a dome and we'll fall off the edge of Antarctica, if we go. But no, just look at infinite universe. There's even a possibility of infinite universes if you believe in some of the theories, the bubble theory, etc. expanding universe. The Big Bang started because one universe entered another universe, and boom. So yeah, there's definitely life. It's just because of we haven't evaluated the time and how long it'll take, what's involved. We've not perfected it, but once we perfect it, then we're going to open just a vast array. It's going to be like Men in Black. You're going to have aliens walking around everywhere, which could be good.
It could be interesting, definitely.
We don't know, yeah. But I'll wait for the invasion, because apparently there's one imminent, isn't there? I think that's the next conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I think that's
invasion, all the return of Christ.
Yeah, but they've both kind of tittered off a bit. The big thing about that. I tell you, one of the things with the aliens that I came across that I really like is they're not extraterrestrials. There's two theories that I like. Much more than them being from different planets and time travel and explaining all that. But they're intraterrestrials, so that they live in the Earth, which
I like that one.
That ties them into fairies. So there is links between fairies and aliens. Wow. And the other one is that they're not time travelers, but they are they come through from another realm. As do spirit and the fae. Sure. So I mean,
it's what was that film called that I used to like? With Kurt Russell with a ring, you'd walk through the ring and you'd be into this another dimension. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, me too.
Stargate, and you'd walk through and you're into that next dimension. Yeah, why not? Because if you believe in string theory, there are 11 of us. There are 11 parallel universes where we're doing this now, but doing it as a different context. It's that type of thing, and they're that close. Space-time fabric, the space fabric, that interwoven. We could just get in and out. Why can't we use our technology and this quantum computer to do things like that?
I know.
Why can't we just good for a change? We always have to do the bad thing all the time, and it's frustrating.
I think if we actually, and I've said this before, if we actually understood our powers as divine human beings, the things that we could actually do with that on a good level, but we are constantly, like you say, bombarded and squashed down, so we don't understand how powerful we are, because the upper elites and the upper echelon, it's not just about money. Money's que sera to them. It's about energy. It's about about energetic control, and I think that's what they get. I think they power themselves up with psychic energy as well as other energies.
We're their batteries, aren't we? That's what we are.
Definitely.
Take the positive out of us, keep us on the negative charge, and that's what it is. But at the end of it, as you spot on, we are one consciousness. All of us are star children. We are all. Don't think it as you are the outer, you are the universe, you are I am you and me, we're all the same. We're all sharing that one big computer, that one big system, and we're just downloading from that. We're all the same, and people need to realize that instead of being closed in and looking at the self, just look at the bigger picture. You look at some of your neighbour, you think, but I am him anyways. Your experience is him as well. But we're conditioned, aren't we? We don't look at it like that. So,
Russ, I think you should go away and grow your beard and grow your hair. I think that's the next step for you, definitely.
You think I'm very hippie-fied?
Just a tad.
I just think it's because I'm like you just 3 o'clock in the morning. What documentary should I watch next? What else is out there? And that's how it all begun, because I'm not just a paranormal investigator. No, that's what the old show's about. Go Paranormal Investigators down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's the one. And they're my favourites, open-minded. I am seriously conscious of time here, and I do want you to get to squeeze in some things about what's coming up with the Westbury. I'm not going to say Westbury Boys. I'm going to say Westbury Paranormal. Some of the events, and where you going from here. Are we doing some more stuff for Haunted Magazine? Tell us what the future is for you.
Okay, well, the imminent future is we've got an investigation on Saturday at Bryn Ygarth Hospital in Wales. So it's a public event. It's been sold out a while, so we're looking forward to that. We've not done a hospital before. as an event. So we're looking forward to that. But future-wise, we've got, I don't know if you can see my badge here, we've got a sponsorship agreement, partnership with Haunted Museum Spirit Shop in Stoke. And what a place. So I'll tell you, you know, if you've not been there, get yourself up there, because it's got a macabre history. You know, that's what drew me to it. Not the artifacts, but they came later. I've got a passion for those now. But the actual murders that took place in the house that Craig will not, the owner will not mind me mentioning his name. Check it out online. Macabre history. You can go and pay a tenner, have a tour around. You'll talk to some of the artifacts. Some of the artifacts, they're all validated with certifications, which I like. He's recently bought some of Ed and Lorraine Warren's stuff, personal items. He's bought an executioner's sword, and he's travelled to Scotland to pick it up with blood stains, apparently. So all these things that you can actually hire the place out for an investigation. We're one of the only teams being affiliated, do a proper events there, you know, under the Westbury logo. And, you know, you can look, we do one a month there. You know, I think it's 40, 45 pounds. You come, 10 of us, private investigation, not numbers. And then we go, there's a asylum there with the padded cell. You've got the seance table with the artifacts around. I mean, that kicks off big time. And then you've got the actual murder room itself, where one of the incidents occurred. And he's expanding. So I really think it's going to be, going forward, it's going to be one of the you know, main ones in the country, for sure. It's already got a lot of exposure on a lot of the media channels. So yeah, we're representing that. Myself, again, yeah, I'm going to hopefully do a couple more, if I get time, a couple more articles for writing for the lads at Haunting magazine. Yeah, we just never get the time to do anything. No. I would like to do a book of all my experiences, for sure. And I mean, I've been keeping a journal all the time, but again, it's getting it to ink. But I mean, I've got so many things, because people just get bored, you know, knocks, bangs, voices, etc. But I want to come with more of the raw emotion, the more spiritual side, if anything, what I've gained from it, my own spiritual journey, as it's progressed, and I want to cover that a lot. But we want to start the podcasts again, our YouTube channel. But please, the main thing is, if you want to follow what we do and come on our events, Westbury, Wednesbury, as in the town, Junction 9, M6 by IKEA. Westbury Paranormal. It's a crap name, I know, but we're stuck with it now. I
don't think it's a crap name. I mean, whenever I hear that name now, it always makes me smile. You know, it's got good associations with it, and that's what's important.
We've got, none of us have got egos. We're all nice. I hope you think I'm a nice guy. You know,
yeah, you are. I mean,
we're all like that.
The whole team is very, very approachable. I mean, more than approachable. And I'm sure. I mean, I've not been out with you guys on an event, and I'd love to pop along with you.
You did. You were at the village.
No. I mean, you running. Yeah. I mean, you running an event. And
you're always welcome to come, Kate, whenever you're about. Yeah, for sure. VIP.
Oh, nice. Now that's an offer, and you've all heard that.
Can I just mention the names of the team as well? Because there's myself, Russ Bevin, you've got Neil Mitchell, you've got Dennis Glenn, and we've got Paul Southey and Joanne Pugh, and that's the 5. And we get various guests, medium guests like yourself, you're welcome, Andy Moore, etc. Yeah, they always come. We always like to be well stocked with our gifted folks. So yeah, but you will get the thing is, we believe in smaller numbers and a more personal experience. So, but yeah, Westbury Paranormal on Facebook. Please come and join. Please, and obviously join Kate's great YouTube channel as well and follow her great work. So
thank you. Right, I think we're going to have to leave it there, because we are seriously running out of time. Russ, I'm going to get you back. I think some of the rabbit holes that we've gone down need further exploration. We'll just pick a one out the ether. Yeah, definitely.
I'm like you. I'm your multi-trained in anything esoteric.
Yeah. And I think you're like me as well, where you're just like pop, with ideas as well from it. All right, thank you so much, Russ, and I hope to speak to you very soon.
Yeah, God bless everybody. Good evening. Thank you.
Thanks.